Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
On this Wednesday night, the ruling in a landmark lawsuit about social media addiction. Two tech giants found liable for harming children.
There are so many families who've been tragically hurt.
The potential domino effects of the verdict. Outrage over a message from Air Canada's CEO.
Hello, bonjour. I'm Michael Russo.
Why his condolence video is being called disrespectful, and the push for him to resign. Rejected Iran's response to a U.S. peace proposal as the U.S. mobilizes more troops. Plus, ring a bell?
This bell has been on the McDonald Bridge for as long as anyone can remember.
The mission to unlock the secret of how it ended up on a Halifax bridge.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. There's a verdict in a landmark trial about the addictiveness of social media. A jury in Los Angeles has found that Meta, which owns Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, and Google, which owns YouTube, intentionally built addictive social media platforms. The 20-year-old woman who sued them argued her mental health was harmed by constant scrolling. She's been awarded $3 million in damages, but this verdict, along with a second one in New Mexico that found Meta endangers children, have much wider implications. They are unprecedented wins for those who have long argued tech companies know their platforms cause harm. Doria Isri has our top story tonight.
Cheers erupted on the steps of the Los Angeles courthouse as the verdict.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the breaking news here, the TSA now reporting the longest airport wait times in history. Mass lines snaking through terminals down between floors, outside and back inside the terminal. Many travelers waiting several hours, now day 40 of the shutdown. TSA officers going without pay. Some TSA workers now relying on food banks, and some now selling their blood just to make ends meet. What are lawmakers doing about this as they get ready to leave for Easter break? The deadly crash of LaGuardia, the passenger jet, and the fire truck, and tonight the investigation and what we've now learned about the two air traffic controllers. Also breaking tonight, the war in Iran, and tonight Iran rejecting President Trump's 15-point plan, insisting there are no negotiations and asking the U.S., are you negotiating with yourself? As the president surges forces in the region, including up to 1,500 troops from the 82nd Airborne. What could be coming? Even some Republicans tonight expressing concern about possible boots on the ground in Iran. Tonight, Savannah Guthrie's first interview since the disappearance of her mother, Nancy Guthrie, 53 days ago.
We are in agony. It is unbearable.
Tonight here, her emotional message and what Savannah is now asking for. Tonight here, the disturbing video, the husband accused of trying to push his wife off a hiking cliff, beating her with a rock, trying to inject her with a syringe. For the first time, we see the video, the Good Samaritans helping that wife get back down the trail. Also late today, a California jury finding Meta and YouTube negligent when it comes to children on Instagram and other apps. The parents who lost children speaking out. What those social media giants have been ordered to pay and their reaction tonight. The JetBlue flight on the way to JFK hitting a coyote during takeoff. Dramatic body camera video, police pulling a driver from a burning car. The news coming in tonight on Barry Manilow. America strong tonight, the major league surprise. The pitcher on the mound approached by the manager. Not always good when the manager walks out. But what that pitcher was told. Also tonight, we remember the famous songwriter behind Wild Thing.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the worst worsening seen at several airports across the U.S. The TSA now reporting the longest airport.
Fox News alert: the Iranian regime's losing leverage fast as we continue to carry out thousands of sorties over enemy airspace. The crew on the USS Abe Lincoln has been launching jets day and night. The flight deck covers 4.5 acres. Pilots landing on it say it's like landing on a moving postage stamp. The Iranians hate honest Abe. They lobbed 100 missiles at the Lincoln this week, and we knocked down every single one. We have full control of the skies, and our Thunderbolt Warthogs are wreaking havoc, pulverizing Iranian naval assets. The world's most dominant air superiority fighters also taking hearts, the F-22 Raptor. And we just got a rare Raptor shot. Here she is preparing for another night of combat. The Raptor flies where it wants and strikes what it wants. So far, we haven't missed much. Here's CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper.
U.S. forces have struck more than 10,000 military targets. In fact, we hit the 10,000th Iranian target just hours ago. Our precision strikes have overwhelmed Iranian air defenses, and our combat flights over Iran are having tangible effects. We've now destroyed 92% of the Iranian Navy's largest vessels.
The most destructive and precise bombers in history continue to lift off from air bases in England. More B-2s flew out today, headed to the fight.
Let me highlight our B-52 bomber force, which is executing a high volume of strikes into Iran and demonstrating our unmatched dominance in the air. Now in their 8th decade of flight, our B-52 bombers are executing strikes into Iran with up to 70,000 pounds of munitions at each mission. Our B-52 pilots and aircrew embody the courage and resilience of the more than 50,000 American sons and daughters serving in uniform during this operation.
One of the core objectives of Operation Epic Fury is not only disarming Iran, but preventing them from rearming. And we're almost there.
Before Operation Epic Fury, Iran had large-scale manufacturing capacities to not only build naval vessels, missiles, and attack drones, but also to advance and proliferate these technologies to regional and global bad actors. Today, we've damaged or destroyed over 2/3 of Iran's missile, drone, and naval production facilities and shipyards, and we're not done yet.
Overnight, our Israeli...
This is Sky News, the headlines. Iran dismisses US claims of negotiations, insisting they'll fight on, even as President Trump threatens to unleash hell. Deaths mount in Lebanon with emergency medical staff under Israeli attack, fearing every call-out could be their last.
This is the Civil Defense headquarters and the vehicles that they use to do their emergency work. This is where the strike hit, right next door, an empty civilian home.
Also ahead, tech giants Meta and Google have been found liable in court for harm caused to children using their platforms. Blood on their hands. An NHS trust is accused of endangering the public for taking 2 days to raise the alarm about a meningitis outbreak. And we meet the man who's received a medal from the King after preventing a bombing at a hospital in Leeds. Good morning. US President Donald Trump says Iran shot 100 missiles at a US target, though he wouldn't reveal what the target was. The comments came in a wide-ranging speech at a Republican fundraising event. He's praised the strength of the military and insisted the war was already won against Iran.
Winning so big.
Africa News. The news.
2025 was the deadliest year ever on the so-called eastern route for migrants from the Horn of Africa to the Arabian Peninsula. That's according to the United Nations Migration Agency, which says the number of people who died or went missing on this route across the Red Sea doubled to 922. Tens of thousands of migrants from Ethiopia, Somalia, and neighboring countries attempt the crossing each year, mostly from Djibouti to Yemen. They travel to the wealthy Gulf states in the hope of finding workers, laborers, or domestic workers. Many of them find themselves stuck in Yemen, the poorest country on the Arabian Peninsula, and which itself has been embroiled in a civil war for nearly a decade. Some migrants have even chosen to return home due to the risky conditions there. Last month, the IOM said almost 8,000 people died or went missing in 2025 on dangerous migration routes. That's an average of 21 people per day, but it said the real toll is likely far higher as cuts in funding have impacted humanitarian access and the tracking of deaths.
Authorities in Kenya have uncovered a disturbing discovery in Kericho. On Tuesday, officials exhumed dozens of bodies, including fetuses, from a suspected mass grave. The investigation began after police received reports of a secret burial over the weekend.
What was found is quite unusual. It was one mass grave, and the bodies were stuffed in gunny bags. We found 7 adults and 25 children who qualify. Some of them are neonates and others are fetuses. So in total, we have 32 bodies. We also found 6 body parts, 4 legs, and 2 hands.
The area has been cordoned off and a probe launched.
We will plan for autopsies to determine the causes of death. Some of these look like they have come from mortuaries and others from hospitals. But we are going to determine that when we finish with the autopsy exercise.
This comes just 3 years after the Shakahola forest massacre, where hundreds of bodies were found along Kenya's coast in one of the world's deadliest cult-related disasters.
This gas station in Kinshasa is facing longer waiting lines than usual. The fuel shortage is one of the first effects of the war in the Middle East that can be felt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Many of the drivers here are concerned. The situation here is that we've spent 2 hours and 30 minutes just for fuel. In our country, there's no fuel. Why? Because of the war between Iran and the United States. Yes, we've been suffering a lot at home. There's no fuel, there's no petrol. It's been like this since... Today is the second day. Look at the people suffering. And transport is difficult because of the lack of fuel. But not everyone at the gas station thinks that the long lines result from the lack in oil shipments due to the war.
This is Asia Now.
Good afternoon. It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Ilakia Silveraji. At this hour, thousands protest in the Philippines demanding the government mitigate the impact of rising fuel prices caused by the war in the Middle East. The government of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says it is activating a $333 million emergency fund to strengthen fuel security, while Japan taps its strategic reserves, highlighting rising energy crunch across Asia. Oil prices ticking higher in Asian trade after Iran says it is reviewing a U.S. proposal to end the war. But traders turn cautious after Tehran signals it has no intention to hold direct talks with Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump insists talks with Iran are on, and the White House says the president is ready to, quote, unleash hell if Tehran does not accept a deal to end the war. And the annual BOA Forum is underway in Hainan, China, as leaders and business figures discuss Asia's economic future. The high-level talks will focus on trade, innovation, and regional cooperation amid global uncertainty.
News. It is good to be keeping you company.
Live from Washington, this is BBC News. Iran says it's reviewing President Donald Trump's peace proposal, but has no intention of negotiating for now, as the Pentagon confirms it will deploy additional ground troops to the Middle East. A landmark verdict. A jury finds that tech giants Meta and Google intentionally built addictive social media platforms to hook young children. And officials warn of record high wait times at airports across the country as Transportation Security Administration staff call out sick and resign in droves.
Oh, that's what our team is asking. Don't miss Reporters. Opus Dei. Spain under influence on France 24.
Hello and welcome to Night Watch on France 24. I'm Charlotte Hughes and here are our top stories at this hour. Donald Trump threatens to, quote, unleash hell against Iran if it doesn't accept a deal to end the Middle East war. Tehran denouncing Washington's 15-point peace plan as, quote, excessive, tabling a counter-proposal which calls for the US to pay for war damages. As Iran maintains its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, countries around the world are trying to find ways to reopen the vital oil transport route in a bid to avoid a major oil crisis. And it's being described as a landmark case. Jurors in Los Angeles find Meta and Google liable for a young woman's mental distress after she became addicted to their social media platforms. Hundreds of similar cases are making their way through US courts.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.